Yeah. So I mean, the message is very simple for us. Like, there's one God, who's infinite, who's all around us. Is a force. It's a being, but also is like a source of everything. And there's this one human race. Everybody's equal. Whether you're male or female, Buddhist or Sikh or whatever race you are, whatever ethnicity you are, even whatever sexual orientation you are, it doesn't matter to God. These things, God's way above that. But the main aim for us is like to connect. So I know you have this in Buddhism. There's this concept of the 10,000 petal lotus place up there, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we have the same thing. We have this. We call it the 10th gate.
Land, yeah.
Yeah. So and it's like you get the blissful experience, right, of experience connecting to God. So we chant. What we were doing earlier, as you hear the speech, when we were doing chanting Waheguru. So when I was at university, actually, there was this girl. It's funny because I got into Sikhism, went to India, came back a year later, and there was another girl who's from Canada, and a white lady. And in the year that I was away, she got into Buddhism. So I come back and I'm like all religious, and she's all religious. I was like, hey. So it was a bit weird because we knew each other from before. And then she used to come to the temple in Southall, where I live, and every morning there at 4 a.m. they have like 1 hour chanting. So it's packed. The Gurdwara is like 4 a.m. is loads of people there. At 5 o'clock it's like empty again. Yeah. And everybody gets there and they just chant for 1 hour. So she came down with me and we used to chant together. Waheguru, just chant that Waheguru. So yeah. And it's like, it's such a blissful experience. You'd recommend it to anybody, right? You wouldn't say, oh, don't do it. It's such a simple way of living. So yeah.
What we were talking about before was like how we're trying to connect kids now, the youth, into their environment.
Right.
And I think for us, it's ingrained in the culture since we were young to be very rational. This is a religion that's going to connect you with, people. And I think even like a lot of Eastern religions already have that concept of let's connect.
That's right.
Whether it be with your environment, your community, or
there is that interconnectedness.
Your faith.
It's also it's that other thing, isn't it? That kind of fear, not the fear, but the kind of the wider aspect of karma, right? As you sow, so should you reap. It's in Christianity as well. But if you've got it as a multiple life thing, then you're not going to get out of it, right? It's like whatever you do in this life, whether you kind of sow it and you get the results in this life, you reap it in this life, or your next life, you're still going to end up reaping those results, right?
But it's also like in Buddhism, there's this concept that everybody at one time, because of that, was your mother, and so you regard everybody as your mother.
Really?
You would.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So that's it. Focuses on the interconnectedness that you can't just.
Yeah. Well, we kind of have the same thing. Like whoever you're born into, whichever family you're born into, there's some kind of connection there. Whoever you get married to, whoever your kids are, there must be some connection from your past life. Otherwise, how come you've got such a deep bond now, right?
Yeah.
We actually have a video called "The Breadth of Sikhi and the Depth of Sikhi," where we relate it to different religions. Like Buddhism, what's similar, like the concept of nirvana, the concept of transcending pain and suffering and being in a place. We call it sahaj. I think you have a similar sort of word for it, right? Sahaja, where you have like equipoise, right?
Right.
Yeah, so no ups, no downs. It's like similar.
Even.
How did you get into Buddhism?
How did I get into Buddhism? I got into Buddhism when I was like 10.
Really? 10? That's young.
Right. Because I was raised a Catholic, and I didn't feel that the Catholics really practiced what they believed.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? They didn't manifest it in their activities. And
Yep.
It was kind of like, and I wanted a religion that had like tools for you to be a better person.
Right.
And that's what Buddhism offers.
So like mindfulness and compassion, yeah.
Yeah, and then with meditation, there's actually a tool that you can kind of work with your mind and when you think about things, or chanting or any of that. It actually transforms you by doing it.
Right. But I mean, I have a weak spot for Catholics.
Well,
because when I was at university, right, it was run by the Benedictine monks. So that was my college, and they were really nice guys. And they always early morning they were up at the temple, not temple, the church. Oh, sorry, it gets confusing out sometimes. Everything's the same. And they used to chant, and I think they're good guys. I mean, the master of the college used to serve the food, so he really believed that we should be like.
So the only thing I don't.
The monks are like the coolest part of Catholicism. The average Catholic sometimes maybe doesn't do so much, but the ones that are actually the monks, they do a lot.
The thing that bothers me sometimes about religions that you have to believe really strongly is I have like their beliefs become a separation between other faiths, and I did not like that. I didn't like the idea that you couldn't question things and that you're questioning.
Right? Was it okay?
Was not in the Buddhist tradition. Your ability to question and
is valued, right? They have debating. They say it's really good to debate, and you see. I remember I went to Dharamsala.
Well, it's actually your Buddha nature. It's actually the intelligence that you have that keeps you always opening your mind.
Right. Because we have a similar kind of concept. Guru Sahib says that in the text, there's three main things. So imagine like you had a plate. Actually, he refers to it like a plate. Within this plate, I put three dishes for you. Right. One is truth, right? The ultimate infinite truth, right? One is contentment. So you're happy what you have. You don't have to you can just calm down. All the waves kind of calm down. And the last bit is contemplation. So vichar, things to think about, like food for thought. Right, so and he's like, always use your brain, and they use loads of examples on how to understand life using different examples. So they have one about farming. So we made a video recently about the farming knowledge of Sikhi. So the Guru Sahib says, okay, imagine your mind and your body were like fields, right? So before you can even plant anything in a field, you need to clear it off all the dirt that's there first. You need to get out all the stones, get out and hoe it down and make it all ready, right? So it's all ready for planting. Then you plant the name of God inside there. Right? Once you plant the name, you need to water it with constant simran, chanting. So as you water that, then you will grow a good crop. Right?
It's just a Buddha. So the Buddha taught a very similar thing. It's called the original word for meditation was bhavana. Which meant at the time what I've read is meant cultivation, which is exactly that thing where you're cultivating your mind so that it can be a good mind and actually then receive whatever teachings. Be a better Buddhist.
I don't know. There's different stanzas of Buddhism, right? It's quite broad because there's Mahayana Buddhism. Is that right? That's the south one. That's like Sri Lanka and stuff. And there's one that's from the north.
No, actually, Mahayana Buddhism
is Tibetan.
Yes, it's Tibetan and Chinese, Japanese.
And the down south one
is the Hinayana Buddhism.
Okay. Which one? Does any of them believe in God, like a being, like God that made everything?
The Buddha.
Because it seems like Buddha is quiet on that.
Yeah, the Buddha is quiet on that, and I don't think it was a matter, I think, more of skillfulness, because what the Buddha was really trying to teach is how people could be better.
Right.
And I think, like the Shambhala principle is that anybody can be a Buddhist. You could even be a Sikh and be a Buddhist.
Right.
Because it's not a matter of believing in a God, it's a matter of how you practice your life. And I think one of the best things about Buddhism is it teaches you practices, compassion practices, like how you can exchange yourself for others. And there's actually, and so I think purposefully he didn't really try to define a God so that he could leave the whole thing open. I know that's kind of like freaky for people.
No, it's okay. I mean, the Guru says you can't say anything. He says you can say all you want, but you will never get to understand him.
Well, so that's really.
The Guru's like, Mara says clearly, I got no clue what he's really like. He will say I don't, but he's definitely a creator. He's the one source of everything, and you call it he, but there's not really a gender to God. But it's one. The main thing is it's singular, right? But the thing is, he's inside everybody, so he's multiple as well. So it kind of messes with your mind. So Guru Gobind Singh, there's a prayer we do in the mornings, and it kind of says, he's one, but he's many. Right? So he's messing with your mind, trying to make it stretch. So he's saying he's the giver, then he says, Namo Sarv Karta, Namo Sarv Harta. So he's the one who's creator, but he's the destroyer as well. So again, it makes you think that everything is singular. Like he is the creator, the destroyer, sustainer. We thank him, but then he kills us as well. And it's like he's in control of everything. So there is this one, but he's benevolent. So overall the plan works, right? But there is definitely the one God that we pray to.
I think that Buddha nature, one of the things that the Buddha taught was one of the reasons you also can't talk about God is because it's inexpressible.
Yeah.
And that it's a very similar thing that it's in your nature is godlike.
Yeah.
But you can't try to pin it down. If you try to pin it down, then it's not really it. And it also is something that you share with everybody else and everything else.
Yeah, we have a very similar. Our Guru says that as you meditate, you come closer to the one.
That's right.
Then you become purified from within, and then the one's light will shine out from you, right? So that's what he's trying to say.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, and now those people, they become the representation. So it's everybody's got a candle inside them, right? But some people's candles all it's got too much water on it, it's not going to really light up, but it sparks and it goes off again, sparks, it goes off again.
Yeah.
But other people, they probably cultivated that, and now they're shining and they're glowing, right? And they're giving off a lot of light to other people. So it's that kind of similar thing.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, so he's saying, look, manifest that one inside you. And for us, it's, there is this one that's the object of devotion. But when you meditate, right, and you feel, I feel like you can connect to that one, and you have that thing that, oh, you're in control, right? Oh, you're the one who I originate from, So it's like you recognize your innate nature, and then you're like, then you don't need to be told like, oh, there is a God or not, because it's inside you experience it.
So that's exactly right, and I think that's something that's really beautiful, because it's what the world really needs, is to find that inside themselves.
Yeah, and you don't need the idea of faith is very low understanding, right?
Yeah.
So we always say like, okay, Sikhi is not about believing in God, it's about believing in Guru, right? Studying about Guru, what he did, and then experiencing God.
It sounds like a lot like Buddhism. Actually,
Well, believing in Buddha, but like experiencing the meditation, right? So until you've experienced that power, you're not really like a meditator. You're not really walking that path, right? And so we call this the path of good actions and meditation. That's it. That's the two things. That's all you need to do in your life, is keep on meditating upon God's name, or meditate upon the infinite one, and then be a good person, right? And you're going to get blessed. But it's funny, because the idea of daya, compassion being one of the main things, that's very much the very first principle we have is compassion. Like without compassion, you have nothing. You can never give anybody justice without compassion, because you're like, I don't care, right? If you can't put yourself in somebody else's feet and feel that pain that they're going through, you never do anything for them, right?
No, you can't. Then you're just doing it. Sometimes in our tradition, sometimes we talk about it, you do it as an outsider does it, which isn't very compassionate. It's more like you're getting something out of it.
Yeah, you're doing it. Yeah, you're doing it just to maybe get some good karma.
Yeah,
rather than doing it out of love, right?
Thinking that you're doing it, and that's really not the.
Well, I wish that kind of thinking spread more out of America, because you can see what's happening in Gaza and places like that now, and you're thinking, man, why don't we become a bit more compassionate towards these people? But it seems messed up.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you.
It was great talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.